Welcome back, everybody. So it's Monday night, which means that we have the wonderful Aaron with us. And this is really exciting because normally he's the one asking questions, and I'm sure he'll still be asking some great questions. But tonight I'll be asking a lot of the questions because he just graduated from Soul Empowering Hypnosis, SEH certification training, and he just finished level 3 like a couple of days ago. And so we have this fresh student perspective of somebody who's gone through the entire program. And so I want to ask him questions on your behalf. And then also, I'm sure he's going to return the favor and ask some questions on your behalf as well. And yeah, so we'll just talk about the SEH certification training program. Aaron, how are you feeling, graduate?
I'm feeling wonderfully. I'm excited for everything that's to come here.
Good.
It's amazing, and I feel amazing from completing this. It's amazing.
Good. Well, how was your level 3 experience? And for those who don't know, level 3 is special where when you sign up for the certification training program, as you're taking levels 1 and 2, it's very self-guided, or I don't know if I should say self-guided. I create a very clear plan for everybody where it's step 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's more self-paced. That's the right word. So I give you the really nice outline and all of the details that are very clear to follow, but it's self-paced because a lot of it is pre-recorded and on demand. But then you have the opportunity during level 3 to take that class live with your cohort. And so you have 4 wonderful days all together via Zoom, which makes it really special because there's that community feel. There's that, like, we've reached the end of something really special feeling. And so even though level 3 is last, Aaron, my first question will be, how did you like level 3?
It was absolutely amazing, and it would be a good idea if you go back and explain level one and level two and level three and what the difference is at some point before we finish, so people know and have that understanding.
Well, I want you to chime in as well. So, because you know how sometimes if you're too close to it, you end up saying something that's too vague or too high level, where you're like, oh, of course everybody gets this. So, feel free to chime in and say, like, oh, Courtney, don't forget to mention this. But essentially, what level 1, level 2, and level 3, what they're doing is they're building on each other. Where level 1, SEH, Soul Empowering Hypnosis, you learn the foundational script. And if you guys have been paying attention to me and SEH, you know that we never use scripts as a crutch. We never use scripts as a mandate. We use scripts to help you get really, really comfortable with facilitating very soul led, very go with the flow hypnosis sessions. So when I say that you're learning the foundational script, yes, you're learning it, but you're never having it forced upon you and you're never having to use it as a crutch, because a big part of SEH is that you learn to drop into a light state of hypnosis yourself as a practitioner so that you're guiding by way of your intuition. And of course, you always have the scripts in front of you, and they're very, very helpful, especially as you're getting more familiar with a new methodology, a new technique. It's super, super nice to have these scripts in front of you because they're going to tip you off to things that you've maybe never even thought before. A lot of these scripts I had never even thought before. I just got to experience them because they came through a client session. Either I was the client or I was the practitioner. I was witnessing it come through a client session. And then I was just smart enough to jot it down, get it on paper, and then teach it to my students. So level 1, you're learning the foundational script. You're getting really comfortable practicing it as a practitioner. And the really unique thing about SEH is that when you sign up for the certification training, you're not just practicing these scripts as a practitioner, you're getting to receive them as a client. And that is really life-changing. And I actually want to pause there for a second, Aaron, to ask you, because again, I don't know if you've ever taken another hypnosis training. Have you?
No, no, I have not.
Okay,
This
so
is the very first.
well, you really started on top. because because the other programs, unfortunately, are not like this. I wish that they were. And what I mean by that is that the other hypnosis programs, they do give you, I was about to say they do give you a fair amount of practice as a practitioner, but honestly, in some cases, that's not even true. Like shockingly, that's not even true. Like there's a style of hypnosis that says you have to facilitate the sessions in person. You can never facilitate the sessions online, and they will let you get certified as a level 1, as a level 2 via an online training program, which means they are certifying you with you having done 0 hypnosis sessions as a practitioner or as a client, with any like oversight from the certifying body. That's crazy to me. So yeah, it's like I know they try to build in sessions in between, but still to say like, okay, here's all of level 1, you can take it online, and in level 1, like you're not actually like practicing anything that you're learning and then moving into the next step and into the next. It's just, yeah, it's mind blowing to me. But anyway, so the another big difference about SEH, is even when the other programs do give you some practice as a practitioner, they don't really give you any practice as a client. And SEH makes sure that you get a ton of practice as a client, because that's actually the best way to become a very good hypnotherapist, is to be on the client side and inside of the experience of the client, so you know what it really feels like to receive those scripts. You become a much better guide when you know what it's like to receive them. So Aaron, what was your experience like receiving so much hypnosis as part of this, as well as getting to learn from the client experience to become a better practitioner?
That part was awesome, which I didn't expect to literally get so much growth for myself as an individual during the process. The the each session always built on what came before,
Mm-hmm.
and everything always fell into place, which it amazes me. And I shouldn't be amazed by these things anymore, but it was really amazing how everything always fit together perfectly. The person that I was working with to do an exchange, every time we were doing an exchange for something that was appropriate for both of us. And there was even one exchange that I went into that I wasn't even sure what I wanted to work on. And I literally, and this was one of the early ones, I literally was saying, I don't know what I want to work on here. And the first thing she says is, I think you need to work on this. And I literally, all I said in response was, okay, because I didn't have anything else in mind.
Was she right?
Yeah, she was right. I couldn't, when she said it, I was getting all the nudges. Yes, that's perfect. So, and one of the important things for anyone that does take the certification, try to have planned out when you know your exchange, your swaps are coming up. Try to know what you're going to do, or what to have something in mind. But even though you have something in mind, be ready to deviate, because sometimes the sessions will totally deviate from what you were expecting, either as a practitioner or it may deviate as a client, and you never know. And that particular instance that I'm speaking of, I had something in the back of my mind, but really, when it first came to what are we going to do, for a brief moment, I was like a deer in the headlights, and because I wasn't sure. And when she made that suggestion, it came from somewhere. It didn't come from me, and it was perfect. So, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that's another one of the many things that I love about SEH, is that the caliber of student is really, really high quality, where even the pre-talk is intuitively guided. Like you can tell that your classmates are so connected that whenever something is being spoken by them, they're not generating it through thinking, they're allowing it to flow through them, because they've gotten really, really good at going with the flow and being connected and intuitive by way of all of these hypnosis sessions that they are experiencing. And I want to say this really quickly, because a lot of people are very humble, which is good to an extent, but a lot of times people don't realize how amazing they are. And so I just want to say really quickly that if anybody's hearing us talk about these SEH students and they're like, well, I would sign up for the program, but I don't know if I'm that magical. I would sign up for the program, but I don't know if I'm that intuitive. Like nobody was that intuitive, like not including me. I wasn't that intuitive until I started hypnosis. So nobody is really that intuitive. And then you get into the program, and then your intuition just like it takes off pretty quickly. Aaron, how was your experience with
It,
that? Like, yeah.
it well, it's I was already pretty intuitive with
Yeah, you've been
with
channeling for a while.
yeah. So I've been doing all these things for a while, but there's two things that really made a big bump up as far as what I do and my capacity. Number one is intuition has grown and spread out, and even in session, one of the sessions I think it was with you, I had fairies in my ear with a bullhorn pulling on my ear opening, saying, "Are you listening?" As
Mhm.
they're saying this is going to happen. And clairaudience definitely is not one of my, or it was not one of my strongest clairs, and it's stronger now. But I also know from the connection with the fairies who I connected with over and over again through this process of swaps, they have already clearly said this is about to open up. Be ready,
Yeah.
and they're telling me to basically start taking note of things when I'm getting the earring and the pulling and just the hearing the words. So it's a big thing. I'm starting to see a little bit more, which I was already starting to grow in that direction, but I am seeing a little bit more. The strength of my strongest clairs is even stronger, which would be my clear sentience and clear cognizance, which I can only attribute that to going through the program. And then the other thing that's really, really different for me is the comfort in channeling. I was able to channel before, but there were several swaps where I was literally channeling and I was in a deep channel, just providing information. And some of the channeling I did, I was deep enough in the channeling portion that I had to go back and listen to what I said. And I even got, for myself, I got advice and information for things that I needed to address for my own health. And it's amazing just to think how my soul has actually come through and expressed these things. But I've channeled my soul, I've channeled other beings in this process, and it's that's been amazing as well. I truly did not expect that. The first time I channeled, I was like, okay, it's going to come in here and there, and I didn't expect anything more. And a lot of this happened during level three. As
Right.
as it
Yeah.
as it's coming in, I'm still thinking, okay, this is about to level off, and it was still an upward curve all the way through to the very very end. It was still going up. There was never a time when it leveled off, and I this is so exciting just as far as what's coming through, how it's coming through, and the comfort that it's coming through at. One of the other things that I thought was going to be a little bit more difficult with doing the channeling at the level that I was doing it, I was expecting it to take a lot more out of me, and I think everything comes at the proper time. And with this coming at the proper time, I've already been prepared to get to this point. And it's something that I actually asked about, and I was told you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and everything is coming through exactly as it's meant to come through at the exact time it's meant to come through. Buckle up.
Nice. And then I just want to interject something really quickly, because I've said this many times before, and this is such a good example of what I mean. So I've said to people, SEH, the certification training program, it meets you where you are.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you are
Definitely.
a pure beginner, and I mean, I have had students, I'm not exaggerating one syllable of this when I say this, I've had students that have never received a hypnosis session who have signed up for the certification training program. and have knocked it out of the park. And it's because the program really does meet you where you are. It is very user friendly. So if you are brand new, as in like the brandest newest you can possibly be, it still sets you up for success. And then you've got somebody like Aaron, who's already been a medium for years, who's already been channeling for years, who's already been like a Claire expert for years. And he's still getting a lot out of going through the program. And then let's not forget me. So I also participated in level 3. I made the even number of people. It would have been an odd number of students. So I went ahead and I was doing session swaps to make the even number. And so I got to enjoy having session swaps for those 4 days. I have never been more in the zone. Like I was almost late to start this live because the universe has been opening up so much for me since the level 3 wrapped up just a handful of days ago that I've been like channeling a book basically and almost missed this live because I was like so in the zone and working on it that I didn't even know what time it was. But of course, they don't want me to be late. So they have me look at the clock like with 4 minutes to spare. I'm like, whew, that was a close one. But yeah, even me, I've been doing this since 2013. Even I am still like growing and expanding because SEH truly meets you where you are and just propels you to whatever your next level is really, really nicely. And Aaron, I love too that you mentioned that sometimes we think that spiritual work can be really tiring, exhausting, taxing. Man, I found level 3 to be so energizing and refreshing. Like it was so pleasant and enjoyable that I woke up on the and level 3, guys, is a 4-day experience. I woke up on the morning of day 5, which there is no day 5. And I woke up on the morning of day 5 and I was like so happy and excited because I was like, yay, we get to do more level 3 today. And then I was like, wait, it's over. It's over. But like that's how much fun it was that like you wake up the next day and you're like, yay, oh, it's over.
And the
So,
time goes by so fast too. Just because the days were from I'm on the East Coast, so it was from 12 to 7. And for some of those days, thinking about it, you're looking at we're going to be doing this for 7 hours,
yeah,
and that 7 hours went by like that.
yeah.
And even at the end of the 7 hours, I'm still saying to myself, this could not have been 7 hours.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, time's not real, and time is definitely
true.
warped in the hypnosis sessions. And again, so guys, the way that it's broken up now, and it's going to be a little bit different moving forward. I want to make sure that we open up SEH to more and more people, and I understand that having class day structured in a way that becomes available to more people is a good thing. And so what we did for this most recent level 3 is we met on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so that those 4 days in a row. What we're going to do going forward is in the next level 3 is in late September 2025. We're going to be meeting on a Saturday, Sunday, week off, Saturday, Sunday. I've actually never broken it up before. I think that it'll be fine to do that. I don't think that we're going to lose any momentum, honestly. I think it'll be just like 5 days to integrate what happened in the first half versus the second half. And so that way, people who have full-time jobs, for example, or you know what I mean, like it allows them to participate on the weekend rather than having to take a full 2 days off of work. So that'll be really, really nice. And then when Aaron says that it's 7 hours, it's about 2 hours and 15 minutes of session swapping with a break in between, and about 2 hours and 15 minutes of more session swapping. And so it's not, I just want to make sure everybody understands, it's not like you go into hypnosis for 7 hours. And then I'm like, great class day, gang. Because you'll be like 7 hours. Does she let them pee?
Yeah, I should have clarified that. I should have clarified that.
It's okay. But even with it being broken up very nicely and having breaks intermingled, 7 hours can still sound like a long time, but it really, really isn't. And like we were saying in hypnosis, time goes by so quickly, not just in the client role, but also when you're the practitioner, because you're also dropped into a light state of hypnosis where that hour or so that you are the practitioner for those session swaps, it goes by really, really quickly, which is really nice. So,
It,
Aaron, I don't know if you noticed this, but they does your team like puns? Are they very punny?
sometimes, not often.
Okay.
Um, the fairies can be.
Okay, thank you. Because I was about to say, my team is very punny. And when you were mentioning the fairies earlier and that they were giving you the Claire audience and an increase in that, I don't know if you even noticed this, but they will use puns as a way to ensure that you remember things more easily in your conscious awareness. Do you remember that they kept using a phrase over and over again? Because I was the facilitator of that session, and they kept using that phrase over and over again, where they were like, and this is not revealing anything too personal, but they were saying relevant, irrelevant, relevant, irrelevant, relevant, irrelevant. Do you remember that?
Hmm.
Yeah, and I thought it was very funny because ear, I know it's not spelled like ear, but irrelevant, like they're putting ear in like their thing that they're trying to remind you of. I'm like, you guys are cute. They're so cute. Oh, and then also in terms of Claire's getting stronger, I'm so glad that you mentioned that because again, like we are all constantly growing if we put our attention and focus and time into it. And so even me, I still have a lot of growing to do. And what they have been doing, especially since I got to participate in level 3 in that way and be part of the session swaps, the sparkles are definitely coming back. The high pitched tone, which I haven't had in years. Like I haven't had those in probably like 8 years. Like the height of me experiencing a lot of hypnosis about 8 years ago. And then I got like so steeped in practitioner teacher role that I really wasn't in client student role. But I've gotten a lot better with this last cohort where I've been actively session swapping with you guys way more than I have with any of the other cohorts, which has been really good because I think that's helped you guys pace really well. And it's also helped me stay much more in the flow and in the groove and then be a better teammate because I'm more connected, which allows me to be like vibing properly with you guys, right? And so I've been getting the high pitched tones, I've been getting the sparkles, and then the sparkles even changed. Either yesterday or the day before, my kitten meowed, and I turned to look at him, and in the side of the fireplace, I saw one golden sparkle. Now, I haven't had a fire in that fireplace in over a month. It was not a spark, it was not a flame, it was, and there was nothing like the way things are situated. Just trust me, I went through all of the normal, human being thoughts. I was like, oh, could something have reflected? Could there have been a 5-week old fire flame, like which would be a miracle in itself. But I went through all of the normal person thoughts, and I was like, no, that was very, very distinctly one golden sparkle, like just so distinctly. That is definitely what it was. And I've had weird stuff like that happen to me in the past, not often, but again, it's always at the height of my spirituality when I'm really in the thick of it. Um, One time I had a drop of water come out of nowhere. I really mean that. I was in my house, not here. This is years ago in Virginia, and I had one drop of water land on my palm. And of course, I did the normal person thinking at first. I was like, "Oh shit, we have a leak." You know what I mean? Like, of course, that's what I thought. But there was no leak. There was no water source. And at first, I started to Google it. I was like, what does it mean? And I was like, why am I Googling when I had the universe? Like, why would I go that way when I could just go that way? And so I have had weird things materialize before that are inexplicable, but very, very real. I was like, all right, here we go again. Buckle up. I'm ready. I'm ready, and I'm not letting it go this time. Like, I definitely allowed myself to get distracted in the past. What I love all versions of Courtney, but that distractible Courtney, RIP girl, RIP. Like I'm in it to win it. So, and I think I know that level 3 helps me a lot with that because I am like super in the zone right now. How are you feeling
It's
about, go ahead.
And I was just going to say, when does the next cohort start?
It's late September. Well, start or when is the level 3?
When does the everything start for your next group to start level 1?
They can sign up
Uh,
anytime. So remember level 1 and level 2, and we should probably get back to level 1 and level 2. But level 1 and level 2, because it is self-paced, they could sign up now and be getting ready for September, or they could sign up in June or I probably wouldn't push it past mid-July, or maybe late July. You'd probably go into like end of July and it would be okay. You could get prepared in time for level 3, but they could be signing up anytime over the next like 2.5 to 3 months and then be ready for level 3. So it just depends on the personality type or their schedule. Like if they want to slow pace it, I would sign up now. If they're like me and they're like, I don't even know the definition or the meaning of the word slow, like, why does that word even exist? Then
it,
yeah, they can probably sign up in late July and it would be fine.
so the reason why I asked that is because anyone that's going in, that's getting in now, you're getting peak Courtney. You're getting absolute peak Courtney. And I just want to say, in getting peak Courtney, the and I'm speaking for myself. I can't speak for anyone else. But when I had my first session, and Courtney said, "Okay, you're going to do a swap with me," it was initially it was a bit intimidating because I'm thinking to myself, "Okay, so I'm about to do a session with the person that's created this or that's channeled this whole program, and I didn't know how I was going to do." And that it was fine. And the reason why it was fine was because Courtney is so comfortable to work with, even as the person that you would think would look at this and be, "You're not following the script," and there is none of that. It
Right?
was it was absolutely comfortable, and I got through it just fine. There was a second one that I did with Courtney, where because of the content, I was a bit nervous. And in the process of being nervous because of the content that we were covering and not being 100% comfortable at that point with taking on that content, Ansel basically stepped in and started questioning me about why I was nervous and why I wasn't performing like I had been in all the other sessions. And then I answered, and then once I answered, I also basically said, "Okay, now you've got that out of the way. Take a minute, get yourself together, and let's continue."
Yeah, that was
And
really, really funny because I remember like by those who are listening, Ansel is my soul's name. Ansel, and my soul's like a collective. It's like it'll speak in we, like it'll say we. And I remember them thinking like while you were facilitating that session, they were like, "Why is Aaron thinking so much? Like, why is he thinking what he's going to say next?" And you could feel it too. Like if I was me in beta, light alpha, just as Courtney, I don't think I would be picking up on that you were generating what you were saying next by way of your mind thinking. Like, I don't think I would feel that. But it was really interesting when I was dropped into hypnosis and I was connected to my team and I could feel it like so. It felt like gears grinding. Like it felt almost physically painful. Like the thinking coming out of you and my
mhm,
team was like, we got to get him to drop in. Like, we aren't sure why he's facilitating from here instead of here or instead of here, but like
that's
he's
exactly what's going on.
really up here right now. And so yeah, when they were finally like, hey, what are you doing? Like, why are you thinking as the way of facilitating? And then yeah, Aaron answered it, and then they gave him like a quick little like pep talk about it, and he was like, okay. And then he dropped in and like, oh my god, like for me, it felt so much better. It felt like being kind of like pinned in the first version, the thank you version, and then the like flow connected version felt like, whew, okay, we can finally get started. It felt really good after that. How did it feel for
And
you to have a soul come in and be like, "Hey, man, we know you can do better."
it's, well, I took the slap on the wrist, and I, it, at the moment, when it happened, I said, wow, am I really about to get fussed at by Ansel? And I said, well, he's right.
Yeah.
And basically, in that happening, the fact that he pointed, or that it was pointed out to me that I was in my head instead of in flow with the session, that it was necessary and it was what I needed. And a lot of times in these sessions, especially in a session with Courtney, and also in a session with Liz, I was in a session with Liz, and I had a question, and I didn't know, should I ask this question or should I not, because I was debating on how much of my intuition to use in the actual session. And I can't remember Liz's soul's name.
Katya.
Katya, yeah. Katya says, "You have a question, ask it."
you
And
got another soul. They're like, Aaron, come on. Nice.
so and that was it was really what I needed to know, that in doing SEH, a lot of it you're working with your intuition and you're flowing with everything that's involved in the session. A lot of times people will get into their head as far as what they're doing. And for me, that's where I was. For me, in the session with Liz, I didn't know whether or not I should deviate, and the reason why I was questioning it, because I was literally deviating from what we were on the surface working on. And with that deviation, I'm just thinking of stuff like, no, we can't go down that road. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. And then we ended up going down that road,
Yeah.
and it was it's exactly where we needed to be.
Yeah.
And it was very comfortable, and I also didn't think that I could do it when I went down that road, because it was something that I had already reviewed. It was along the lines of just things I had a bit of understanding of, but I was thinking in terms of, well, I don't think I want to deviate. We haven't fully covered this yet.
Are you,
And
when you say deviate, are you talking about that you guys had a goal? Like you were in, I'm just throwing numbers out there, but for example, you were in level 2, module 7, and I'm just making something up because I don't remember what they are off the top of my head, but let's pretend that that is going into a past life. And that was supposed to be the goal for that session. And so when you say that you were deviating, like let's pretend that she like totally blew past a past life and then went into the spirit realm and then to another life on another other planet. Like, do you mean something like that, that you were deviating because like the soul just threw you into a totally different topic than was the original intention for you two getting together?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That happens all the time.
And the main reason why I was debating it was because it was something that we hadn't really gotten to, as far as the actual linear progression. But things aren't linear. And
Right.
even with that deviation, it still took care of, we still covered everything that needed to be covered for that. And it just clearly, that was another one of my lessons of, don't be in your head. If it's there, flow with it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And
Big time.
I think that was that was, I think that was after, I think, the session with you.
Yeah. I feel like
And
you were in the back half of level 2 at that stage because I remember you telling me about this happening.
so everything got covered. It got me out of my head and allowed me to know, okay, everything that comes is coming for a reason. And a lot of times, and I found this in other sessions, but a lot of times you may look at a session going in a specific direction because of what you have in mind as a practitioner, based on what they're telling you, but what the person who is the client may be telling you may not be exactly what the soul is looking for in that session.
Yeah.
The soul may be looking for something totally different. And if the soul is looking for something different, the soul is going to guide it to where it needs to be. And the person, in most cases, they're going to go along with it because that's what they're getting. And if it definitely in those instances, the soul was making it clear, oh yeah, this is what you need to do.
Yeah,
Jump on it and go.
I love how polite the souls are. Like they're very purposeful and productive and polite. And what I mean by that is that they will put to the front and make the priority the most important thing that the client needs to experience, to heal, to shift, to learn. Um, and then once that is taken care of, that's when they'll start to play by the rules where they're like, okay, we've done like what we really, really wanted to do. But we also understand that there's a certification training program happening. And so, yeah, like we'll go ahead and we'll allow X, Y, and Z because these people have a checklist and they need to get to it. So, but yeah, they're really, really good at that. And then you start to learn, you become a really good practitioner, and also you become a really good client because you start to learn, okay, I have these three things that are of the utmost importance on the conscious level. And I'm being very dramatic for effect right now. And I'll just die if I don't know these answers or I don't get these shifts or I'll just die. They're like my top three priorities of all time. And then the universe is like, cram it. This over here is actually what you really, really, really need to focus on. And then once you allow that, you realize it's not replacing your most important top priorities. It's actually laying the groundwork so that when the universe, it only takes like 10 minutes. It doesn't even take very much time, but you give it a handful of minutes to do what it wants to do. And then it lays the groundwork so perfectly for those things that you were like, this is the most important thing in my life. And what's funny is after the groundwork is laid, usually like a couple of those things, you're like, I don't even think that's a big deal anymore. you just get it, right? So so it becomes a really, really good exercise in trusting the universe, going with flow, seeing how much better things turn out because you did decide to trust the universe and go with the flow. And what you thought were your top priorities, either you realize like, oh, actually, I need to edit those top priorities, or you find out like, oh, I was totally like, I thought I was going 1, 2, 3, but I actually needed like 0. Like I needed 0 first to lay the foundation for this stuff that I couldn't go 1, 2, 3. I needed something to precede it for it to actually happen. So that's really, really nice too. And then Kelsey and we were going for a walk or something. For those who don't know, she's also in Aaron's cohort. So she graduated level 3 alongside him. And she also happens to be my neighbor. And so we're going for a walk or picking dandelions or something. And she was saying the same thing where she's like, I cannot tell you, Courtney, like how comfortable I am now with going with the flow and how grateful I am that SEH gives you guidance and it gives you parameters and it gives you goals and information, but it never ever says, and this is how it must be. Like it really stays very open to the limitless possibility of what could come in. And the reason that is so important is even though SEH was channeled by me / my clients, really a lot of it was channeled by my clients and I was just witness to it, but some of it by me as a client, even though it was channeled either in front of me or through me, I still understand that it would be so erroneous and detrimental and arrogant if I were to then say, okay, Courtney, got to enjoy all of this flexibility, but now I'm going to put it on paper and now nobody else can vary from that. No, like SEH is born of flexibility and it evolves because of flexibility and it gets better because of flexibility. And you guys just got to experience the best level 3 that we've ever had. And it's because I've been paying attention over the last few years and you guys got new modules that no other cohort has ever gotten because again, SEH is still expanding and evolving. So more flexibility stacked on flexibility. So yeah, it's such a nice program because it does help you become an extremely good practitioner and client. And then I think it also helps you become like an even better person because you just start to go with the flow in your life. You're like, oh, I really thought I needed to do this, this, and this, but this is clearly what's supposed to be happening now. And you start to flow in your life so much better. What do you think about that, Aaron?
I definitely agree. And one of the things that was a constant coming up for me in just in session relating to specifically to being a better person and a better practitioner all around was love. Love is at the center of everything and the fact that we're all connected. And that was if there was, I'd say one theme that went across at some point in every session, it, just about every session at some point, it was touched on as far as aspects of love and the fact that we're all meant to be here to love and be in a state of authenticity. And with that constant theme coming up, it made me realize a lot of things as far as the things that I can grow on in better flowing with love and being my authentic self. And that's not something that I expected to come out of this certification with. I the and it's the big thing here is and I don't know how other people look at it. For me, I was looking at it as I'm going to get this certification. I'm going to learn how to do this. I had no idea of all the growth that was going to come from me in so many different areas and just the clarity coming out of so many different areas. So literally doing this certification puts you in a position of getting just as much during that time period outside of learning the certification, but just getting what you would spend thousands of dollars to get in learning and constant sessions. There's no time that you're going to have a series of sessions. Level three, it was two sessions during the course of the day, and it was for 4 days straight. If you actually do the math, that's a lot of money for
Yeah,
a
if you were to
session
pay
that's
for like
actually
one session, yeah.
so the what you're getting there, but then what you're getting through the course of level one and level two, you're still doing eight eight session swaps all the way through levels one, and then you're doing eight session swaps in level two, and you're walking away with a lot of growth that you may not have expected because of what you're getting in that section. And the person, the one of the other things that I think is so significant here, I think the cohort that comes together, and I definitely say that for the cohort that I'm in, it was a perfectly matched cohort. Everybody in in this cohort was amazing, and every person brought something different into the table as far as skills, ability, understanding, um, even with strengths and weaknesses, everybody balanced out on both ends for how we work together. Every cohort, if if this is a picture of what the other cohorts have been like, this is amazing because the right people are always drawn together. And the Courtney's the magnetized person that's pulling all the right people into the next cohort, and that's going to be an amazing cohort. I just know it is. It, I can't wait to see what comes of the group that I'm with, and I look forward to hearing what the things that you have to say and what the individuals in your next cohort have to say as far as their growth and what they got out of
Well, it's really nice too because, oh, gosh, I've got so much to touch on. But one of the great things about SEH is that whenever you graduate from levels one, two, and three, you're working with your cohort, yes, which is amazing. You also get to help the new kids that are coming up So whenever the new students that are, fresh into level one and they want to do session swaps, like of course they're going to do session swaps with me and they're going to do session swaps with each other, but they also get to do session swaps with graduates, right? And so that's a really, really nice thing too, where you guys get to pay it forward. And so you get to answer the call whenever the new students are like, okay, I'm ready to session swap the graduate. And then Aaron could be like, you rang? And then you can really get to experience firsthand like what they're like, what they're experiencing. And like you said, it really is amazing how the cohorts that they already know each other on a soul level. And it's almost like the whole Avengers unite or Avengers assemble. Avengers assemble, where like they just vroom, vroom, they come in from their various parts of the world, their various time zones, their various expertises. I don't know if that's a word. It's close to a word. But in this cohort, we had a medium, we had a stay-at-home mom, we had an accountant, we had a doctor, we had a chef. You know what I mean? Like who would think that that list of professions would come together and just create the most insane magic? But that's what your souls wanted to do. So yeah, it's really, really remarkable. I'm pretty excited to see like who's coming next and like what these souls have in store for each other. But then again, being able to connect with you guys. And then I want to also mention this and ask you about it, Aaron. So talking about levels 1 and 2 and what they're like, and when I say that they are, there's a lot of guidance, of course, but they are also very self-paced. So for example, let's say somebody is a doctoral student and has 2 young kids. Like they're probably going to go through SEH at a little bit of a slower pace. Like they might want to do 1 session swap per week as opposed to 2. Or you might end up being a personality like me where I'm like, how many days are in the week? Like that's how many session swaps I want to do. And I'm not even kidding. Like as I was preparing for one of my certification trainings, you had to do 6 practice sessions. And I had literally 6 evenings between that certification training finishing and before I had a flight to Europe to start a totally different certification training in hypnosis. And so before my certification was even done, technically, I asked them, I was like, hey, can I do my first practice session the night before the last day? And because we had like a half day where we were gonna like be able to leave after lunch, I was like, we only have a couple more hours left in class. Can I please do my first practice session the night before class is over? And I was like, because I got to go to Europe and I got to start this other thing. And they were like, sure. I did 6 in 6 days, and you had to like seriously document like what you like, transcribe the whole thing, create like a summary. It was intense. And I did 6 in 6 days. And so when I say that, like sometimes crazy people like me, they're like, let me at it. Let me just get in there and go. So it's really nice because when it's self-paced like that, you get to pick how quickly or how slowly you go through the program. And you have a lot of flexibility there. And then you also have a lot of flexibility and a wide variety of ways to experience hypnosis. So you've got the session swaps with your classmates, your cohort. You've got your session swaps with the graduates. You also have your session swaps with me, which is really fun. And what's funny is there's an orientation call for every new student that, of course, I'm the one that they're chatting with. And so I'll say to them, like, hey, do you want to do your first session swap with me? And it's always fun to see their reaction because you could see like the brain kind of stops because they're like, wait, like I've never done this. Like what you were saying earlier, Aaron, we're like, I've never done this before ever. And the first time I ever do this is going to be with the person who created all of it. Like, I don't know. But I think because I'm so, it's funny. I am laid back, even though I'm also intense. But I think I'm so rooting for you guys. I think that's probably the right phrase. Like, I'm so rooting for you guys that even though it sounds like a crazy idea, like, yeah, let me do this for the first time ever with the founder, that you guys just know that like I really want you to do well. I'm gonna make sure that you do well. So you've got like this strong level of like love and support and enthusiasm behind you. And so a lot of people take me up on it and they're like, okay, sure, okay. So that's always fun too, where you have that wide variety of people that you were also practicing the session swaps with. Erin, how was that for you, knowing that you could session swap with your classmates or with me, that you could take your time, like if you wanted a handful of days in between sessions, or if you wanted to do back to back, like 2 days in a row? Like, how was that variety and flexibility for you?
It's it's perfect because of that flexibility. And there's two things that come with that flexibility. One, you do it when it fits your schedule, and everybody has other things going on. So you're coordinating with classmates, and once again, you coordinate. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out at a particular time. But once again, everything fits together perfectly because there was a couple sessions. I had one intention to be paired up with a person, and it ended up that I was paired up with someone else. And the pairing that happened from the way things worked out was actually perfect for what that person was going through, what they needed for the session, and what I needed to cover. So all of those things come together, and the the thing is, you have to flow with it because you have to flow with your schedule, but you also have to flow with the universe because the universe is always going to put in front of you what's going to best suit your getting through everything that you need to get through. And
Mm.
I just want to say one other thing in regards to you, Courtney. You are a huge cheerleader, whether it's in sessions, whether it's out of sessions, whether it's after you're a year outside of completing certification. Courtney is still, if for those who don't know, Courtney is still a huge cheerleader to everybody and what they're doing. So that's something. That's one of the big pluses. You know, Courtney's always going to tell you the best possible outlook and give you the best advice for whatever you're looking to do. That's one of the big pluses that comes along with this too. And everybody needs cheerleaders. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care how you're good at it. Having cheerleaders is always a great thing.
Thank you. That was very cheer-tastic of you to say that. I appreciate that. I really do. It means a lot to me. You guys make it so easy because you're just some of the coolest people. Like, you're so cool. It's really easy to just watch what you're doing and go like, "Damn, they're awesome." And then like, and even with, like you were saying, the most talented, gifted, brilliant people, it's nice to have like a second brain, a second soul, a second heart on it to be able to look at what you're doing and go like, hey, have you thought about doing it this way? Like, hey, what about that? And so it's really, really nice that even if you're very good at your craft, it's cool to have a second person that is also very dedicated to this work and has a lot of experience in this field to go like, you're doing awesome, and also like think about this part over here because I bet there's a lot to explore and enjoy in this direction. So that's really nice as well.
And also in some programs, and correct me if I'm wrong, but my feel is in some programs, once you're done, you receive your certification. There's no more money to be had from you. You don't really hear from anybody again if you try to reach out.
Yeah, there's that piece of it. And then man, I don't know if I'm ever gonna stop complaining about this because it just breaks my heart so much this business model exists. Because I don't want to complain, but I also feel like I should warn people. A lot of the other hypnosis programs, I'm not certain that they're doing this on purpose. But man, oh man, they really, really break up like what they're teaching you, where it's not just a level one. It's now a level one companion class. It's a level one prep class. It's a level one in person as opposed to online. Like they really just have managed to put like every single variety of whatever it is, and they charge you for it. Now, if they had a level one and they said, "Hey, bonus, you buy the level one, and then if you want to do the prep or the companion or the in-person or the on, like, and you just sort of get all of it as a package, then fine, break it up however you want to break it up." But what they're doing is they're just not really preparing people very well. Like, if you're giving them a level one and now it needs like three other supplementary things, that means your level one's not that good. Like, it's just not that good if you need all of this, like, boosting, bolstering, shoring. Like, it's just not that good. And so the fact that they're charging people money to fix their mistake, like, it's not the student's fault, it's the program's fault. The level one's not that good. Um, that really bums me out. So there's the whole, like, as soon as the people are done paying money, they don't really have support anymore. But then there's just the whole, like, they're not even getting that great support when they do pay their money, because then they just have to pay more money because the first thing that they bought didn't even really, like, get them what they needed. So and I tell people, like, there's a reason I took 14 different hypnosis certification trainings, and the reason is that none of them really got the job done. And I was just so committed to this work because it's the thing that healed me as a client, and I needed to be the best practitioner that I could be. Like, I just have a serious, like, respect and reverence for hypnotherapy, particularly spiritual hypnotherapy, that I just needed to know that I was really, really, really well trained in it and really, really, really good at it. And none of the programs were that good at training me, and none of them made me feel very confident. And so SEH just had to develop itself. Like, as I was facilitating session after session after session after session, like, as a practitioner. And so SEH developed itself. And then what's funny is that I wasn't really planning on teaching it. Like, I was just so grateful and relieved that I knew how to facilitate good sessions. I was like, thank God, because it took me 4 years to even really start the practice that became SEH. And so 4 years of being like, I love this work and I want to help people, but man, I just, like, I need better training. And then, because I started my training in 2014, I took classes and classes and classes until 2018. Then finally in 2018, SEH started to develop itself in front of me. And then by 2020, the universe asked me to start teaching it by way of a psychic. Like, the psychic was like, oh, they're saying that you need to start teaching your style of hypnosis. And I was like, what? What? And she said that in February of 2020. And by August of 2020, SEH was born. And like that, my first training took place in August of 2020. And what's funny is that, like, it really has been, you know how they say it takes a village to raise a child? Like, it takes a village to create SEH, where I didn't even name it. I was going to call it client empowering hypnosis. And then I had a client that day, and she was asking me about it, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna start teaching it, and it's gonna be client empowering hypnosis. And she was like, no. And she goes, and I'm forever grateful to her. Like, you know how I always tell stories about Lisa? Like, Regina is the one who always gets, like, the origin story of the name. But yeah, Regina, she was like, no, like, nobody wants that. I was like, what do you mean? I think it's amazing. And she goes, no, nobody wants to be a client. Like, they want to be, like, they're a client because they're moving towards something, right? And she was like, don't stop them at client, because client's just like the step in the direction that they want to go in. I was like, oh, okay. Okay. It's a very good point. And so I thought for a little bit. I was like, okay, well, what are the clients really doing? Like, why are they really having these sessions? Because Regina's right. Like, no shade to being a client. I'm still a client. Being a client is amazing, but you're not there with the end goal of, and at the end of this session, I become a client. Like, that's not, like, anybody's hope and dream, right? And so so it's like, okay, what, like, why are they there? What are they doing? Like, what's really happening? I was like, oh, it's soul empowering hypnosis. That's what it is. So even the name, like, it's just like all the pieces came together really, really nicely. And that, yeah. And so I ended up teaching it, ended up naming it, like, not really through any of my own agency. Like, I just like was a willing participant. And when the universe was like, do it, I was like, okay. So go with the flow.
And you got some highs in the comments. I think I
Hello,
recognize one
Luke
name.
and Alex and Raheel. Hello, team. How nice. And then Aaron, we've got 35 seconds. We can take it. We can go over by a couple of minutes. Is there anything else that you wanted to share about the program? Is there anything else that you wanted to ask about it? If if somebody was thinking about signing up, but they weren't quite sure yet, because we all have our reasons that we're on the fence. Either we're nervous that we won't be that good at it, or we're nervous about the expense, or we're nervous about the amount of time that we think that it's going to take. Like, what would you say to, because I know what I would say, but what would you say to the people that are like, I'm thinking about it, but I don't know. And they're just like back and forth about it.
If you're looking into it and considering it all, considering doing it at all, it's because it's something that's placed, or something that's a box to be checked by your soul, something for you to work on. So
Yeah.
if it's coming to you in that manner, it's coming to you for a desire of the soul, a desire of the soul for you to do some self improvement, which you get a lot of self improvement just from doing the sessions and the swaps. It's going to come naturally, and then it's going to make a difference in other people's lives as you're growing into this. So the big questions that people have is, why am I why am I debating it? You're debating it because it's placed in your path for a reason. The doubt that people have is, can I do this? If it's put in your path to do it, nothing gets put in your path that you cannot do. If it gets put in your path for you to do it and to take it on, it means that you have the capacity to work with it, do it, and to do it very well beyond your expectations. So those are the main things that I suggest looking at. Uh, People can feel free to reach out to me to answer any questions if they're debating, because I'm glad that I did it. I have no doubts as to anything that came through here, and it's a great program. Follow what you're getting, and once again, if it's coming into your view, it's definitely for a reason.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning the doubt part of it. I think that a lot of us, myself included, that for years, like only just in the last, seriously, the level three that I did with you guys, it changed me. I'm different. Like I don't have the doubts the way that I did. So I speak from very firsthand experience about how it's painful to live a life with doubt. Like you want to move forward. And like Aaron was saying, if something's been put into your path and you know that it's meant for you, it's the only reason that it's there. It's the only reason you're thinking about it. It's the only reason that you're seeing it as a way forward for you. But then the doubts are just, they're painful. They hurt. They're slow. They grind. They really just sort of like chip away at your happiness and your energy. And so SEH is really, really nice for helping people to finally break free of those limitations. And yeah, there really is something about receiving a lot of hypnosis during a pretty short period of time. And those of you who've been watching me, you know that like I stepped away from receiving as many sessions over the last couple of years, and I really felt it. Like I really, really took the hit, emotionally, physically, psychologically, spiritually, intellectually, like all of it really, really took a hit. And so being able to come back, it was really with your cohort where I really like came back and started to throw myself back into it. And then level three, like being able to enjoy those 4 days with you guys, like I'm changed. And I want this for more people. So yeah. All right, Aaron, people can work with you now since you're an SEH hypnotherapist. Want to tell them how to work with you?
And and as a new SEH therapist, I'm excited. I want you to reach out to me. I want to be able to work with you on things that you want to improve for yourself. I love diving into past lives. I love diving into life between lives. If you don't know anything about those things, message me. We can talk about it. I love diving into the concepts of the fact that time doesn't exist. So there's so many things and places where you are right now. Outside of the you that you think you just know now, you're all over the place. So I want to be able to help people get to know all of those other aspects of who they are and where they are. So reach out to me for that. Also, I'm still doing the gifts and guides readings. I'm still doing other types of readings. I for just about anything that you're looking for, I can help you with it. And I really, the thing that I want to dive into the most right now is working with SEH and gifts and guides, because those are, of everything that I do, those are the two most empowering things for anyone that's looking to grow and looking to get a better understanding of who they are and what they can do, and not just have somebody hand you information and say, okay, bye. I want you to be able to do it for yourself.
It really is. It's very, very, very empowering for other people to be able to learn how to do this for themselves. So, yeah. And if you guys want to get SEH certified, go to CourtneyStarkey.com and we can get you into the program. And as Aaron was saying, I am a pretty good cheerleader. So just reach out to me and I'm happy to answer any of your questions. And once we get you started in the program, it's really a lot of fun. Like it's life-changing and it's intense in a good way, but it's also really, really fun and enjoyable. Like you're going to have a good time, which is really nice. All right, Aaron,
Definitely.
love you very, very much. We're going to do
I
this
love you
again
too.
on, thank you. We're going to do this again next Monday. Was the day the 5th? Oh yeah. Hey, 5525.
Yes.
Pretty cool. So we're going to do this again next Monday on May 12th. We're going to be meeting an hour earlier, so 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, and that's going to be our start time moving forward, because then I'm going to spend about 55 minutes with you guys and Aaron. Then I'm going to go into my spirit animals guided hypnosis session that I do my live stream every night, and that way you can do back to back with me. And for those of you who are going to be joining me in about 51 minutes, tonight we're going to be doing cheetah. No. What am I saying? Chimpanzee. Sorry. So many animals, so little time. Chimpanzee. We're going to be doing chimpanzee. We did cheetah last night. And if you guys missed that one, the recordings are up on YouTube. And Aaron, did you get to do cheetah last night?
No, I did not, but that's definitely
Man,
one that I want to do.
get in there. I think I misspoke and said cheetah on purpose because that one was different. There was so much channeling. Well, I'm making sure to, you know how a lot of times I'm logging in like last minute. I'm not doing that anymore, where I'm allowing myself enough time where I'm like, because then I'll be like, okay, I need 3 minutes to prepare. Then I do 3. I'm like, no, I think I need 5. Then I do 5. I'm like, maybe it's 10. And so what I'm doing is I'm allowing myself enough quiet space before logging on and allowing everything in me to settle, right? Then getting into connection, then teaching for a few minutes before we go into the hypnosis. And then in the hypnosis, I'm making sure to really drop in a very focused and connected way. And so the last few sessions have definitely been different, where there's a lot more channeling that has been going on, with the exception of one. I had a migraine during one of them. I'm not going to say which animal it was, because it'd be funny if people could pick it out and be like, I think she had a migraine during that one. That was not her best work. So it happens. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, cheetah was cool because I'm in this like more connected channeling phase of things, not phase, like era, new chapter of things. And so, yeah, cheetahs have all these spots, right? And so they showed me something that I've never seen before, where they were like, think of the spots like Braille. And Braille is basically like hidden language if you don't know Braille, right? It just looks like dots if you don't know Braille. And so they were like, know that there's a Braille message within the cheetah spots. Let it come forward to you as the word or phrase or sentence that you can read. So
Ooh.
that was part of it. Yeah. And then another part that was unexpected is that one of the spots of the cheetah was a portal to take the person to one of their most cherished and trusted spirit guides. So that was really neat. And then, so they got to hang out with one of their like top spirit guides. And then another surprise was that even though I assume that the people who are logging into these live streams are newer to SEH, newer to me, quite possibly newer to hypnosis, but man, they dragoned them. They brought in a dragon. I was like, you guys are bringing in dragons. Like, dragons, I
Wow.
feel are advanced, but they brought, and I was like, okay, like whoever is on tonight, like you guys are getting dragons. And then the final thing that they did, and this was also really interesting, they wanted the person as like the final exercise to receive a flower. And they were like, sure, go ahead and pay attention to the type and the color. Sure, go ahead. But really, the thing that we're emphasizing to you is the energy, the condition, the state of the flower. Like, that's the big thing to pay attention to. I was like, okay, interesting. Like, and I don't know what, and you know what was also weird? You know how we can see the comments tonight? That rectangle that shows the comments last night, and this is the only time I've ever seen this, was totally whited out. Like the whole rectangle was just a white box, nothing. So I have no idea what anybody wrote. I was like, hey guys, like I'd love to hear your feedback and know what you experienced, but we cannot. But yeah, last night was really, really cool, and I'm expecting more of the same. No pressure, universe. But I'm like, yeah, bring it. It's like we are next leveling. So we'll just see what chimpanzee brings. But if anybody missed cheetah, I would definitely go back and watch the recording. I'm going to figure out how to trim the live recording so that they can end up in the videos category of my YouTube channel. Because right now, the way to find all of those is that you have to click on the live tab, because they were live, now the recordings, but YouTube still categorizes them under the live tab. So people are trying to find these things in just
You
the
should create a
regular videos.
playlist.
I should, but I still think that the smartest thing, the necessary thing that I need to do is I need to also trim them. But for some reason, even though YouTube is like this, mega hit for like 20 years now, or however long it's been really popular, it's not easy to edit in. Or maybe that's just me. Maybe there's some like thing I haven't clicked into, but I need to figure out how to edit. And then once you edit just a little bit, which would be like just a matter of like trimming the first second off or the final second off, that's all you have to do. Then YouTube identifies it as a different thing. And then they're like, oh, it's a recording that goes in the video tab. So that's also what I really need to do, is figure out how to like trim it a little bit and then get it recategorized. I think people will find it easier, because I think we're all trained to click into the videos tab, but we're not really trained to click into the shorts or to click into the lives or to click into the posts. Like we're all used to clicking into videos because they're all videos. So we think that that's what like we're looking for. So yeah.
That kind of makes sense. Most of the time, I go into both. Shorts is where I end up not looking, but I always, if I'm looking for something, I will look in live and look in videos, because I know it's always going to be in one of those places. Especially if I know it's something that's done regularly, I will search. I don't know how diligent people will look for something,
Most of
but
the time, they're not
it,
diligent. They're
okay.
not. Yeah.
Well, then you definitely need to trim them then.
Yeah. Well, and oh God, you know how I joke that like on my tombstone, it'll be just a quote of me saying like, and the final thing I have to say, like you guys are going to be trying to bury me. And I'm like, no, I have more to say. So the final thing that I have to say is we've talked, I think this is really, really important. Pretty much everybody who is spiritual, pretty much everybody who is an entrepreneur, maybe it's just pretty much everybody on the planet, I don't know, in some shape or another, we have a fear of being seen. And one of the lies that I used to tell myself as related to a fear of being seen, which can then become self-sabotage by way of these lies that we tell ourselves, I used to say to myself, oh, they'll find it. Right? And it could be any variety of that lie. Oh, it's easy, they'll find it. Oh, they should work for it a little bit. It helps me weed out like who's serious about this work versus not. So I want the ones who are serious and problem solvers. They can find like they're lies. it's really just me playing small. It's really me just doing some very clever version of hiding, right? And so, since I'm tired of that bullshit, I'm like, we don't hide anymore. Like, we do not hide anymore. And when I say we, I mean like the Courtney of it all. And so I'm like, no, Courtney, whatever lie you're telling yourself, and man, I believe it too. I think YouTube is hard to edit. And I'm willing to bet that there's some like 8-year-old out there that is like, did she just say YouTube is hard to edit? Like, I've been editing it for 2 years now. They're 8. You know, like I am sure that it's actually not hard to edit. That is just a lie that I'm telling myself so that I can play it small and hide. And now that I've said this, I'm really calling myself out. I guess I better figure that out tomorrow, because if I don't, that would be kind of embarrassing. So, yeah.
It's probably not as hard as you're making it.
Pretty guaranteed that it's not that hard. So, yeah. And then that's happened to me throughout the years. And I try to pay that forward whenever I'm working with my students, because again, the students also tend to have this issue. And it really just makes me wonder if all of humanity has this issue, this fear of being seen. Because if I figure out YouTube, then you guys don't have to do it on your own. I can just help you. If I figure out marketing, you don't have to do it on your own. I can just help you. If I figure out hypnosis, you don't have to do it on your own. I can just help you. So for me, I intentionally like keep working, not just to help myself, but I know that if I figure out something, like whatever's the next level of hypnosis, whatever's the next level of marketing, whatever's the next level of technology, whatever's the, like, I know that I can make your lives so much easier because you have a nice person to handhold you and go, it's really not that bad. And you don't have to like trip through the 6 years of making the mistakes that I made. We could just do this in like, I don't know, 45 minutes. You want to do it in 45 minutes? Okay. Yeah. Good choice. So, yeah. All right, Aaron, anything else?
I think we've covered it all.
You're like, Courtney, you're the one that keeps talking. As always. We did end on time for the class days, though. Did you see that? I was very proud of myself.
Did we?
Yes. We even ended
great.
early. We even ended early 3 of the 4 days. Yeah. We were on time the first day and ended early the other 3 days. I noticed.
I guess you're right, but I wasn't in a rush to be done early.
Yeah. Well, I want to be respectful of people's time. So I was just like, and usually I've had a tendency to historically run late. And everything just felt like perfectly full. And it concluded a few minutes early each day. Other than that first day, I think it was like exactly on time. So yeah. Speaking of on time. I mean, well,
as far as I'm concerned, everything was perfect.
Thank you. And the only reason I'm still talking is because there's really like no time constraint for this one. This is the last one where we don't have a time constraint. Next week is when it becomes like 50, 55 minutes. But yeah. Okay. Well, that was fun. Like not having a time constraint with you for the last time.
We'll enjoy it for the last time.
Yep. All right. Love you again. I know I said it earlier, but love you again. And everybody, come join us on May 12th, 2025. This time we're going to start at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and that's our start time on Mondays for the foreseeable future. All right, gang. Love you very much. CourtneyStarkey.com and peace, 4 healers at gmail.com, or the IG handle, peace, 4 healers, to connect with Aaron. All right, guys. Have a great night. We'll see you in 1 week.